come day of perjury, do you promise that the evidence you shall give and issue now pending shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Your Honor, just to clarify, Sergeant Moore was the issuing officer of the citation. This is actually my case. I have gone ahead and prepared a packet for the court as well as the defendant on the event.
Christopher, you can proceed.
I was just going to say I have a couple of witnesses if necessary.
I also have 2 witnesses that may or may not be called if needed.
Just for clarity of the record, I'm looking at a citation from February 17, 2019, no right-of-way work permit, a Class A violation. Okay, and law enforcement, you may proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. So I'm going to start with a little bit of, I guess, history, what led up to this point today and where we're at. So on January 24, 2019, at approximately 16:20 hours, I had received information that Mr. Furr, seated to my left, the defendant was conducting a garbage cleanup on Libby Lane near Milepost 4. Milepost 4 is going to be near, if you're heading to Charleston from the Coos Bay side, it'd be after Noah Lane headed up the hill. I contacted Scott Murray from the County Road Department and inquired if Raymond had received a permit to do work within county right-of-way. Mr. Murray told me he had not, and he had never submitted an application. I asked Mr. Murray what he'd like to do. Mr. Murray said he would like Mr. Furr warned, and if he continues after his warning to issue him a citation. Approximately 16:50 hours, I made contact with Mr. Furr on a gravel pull-off on Libby Lane near Milepost 4. This is on County Roadway on the Coos Bay side of Libby Lane near Noah. As I walked up to Mr. Furr, he began recording me via his cell phone as I asked him if he had permission or a permit to conduct work within county right-of-way. Mr. Furr said, in substance, he did not need one, and he was working under the county Adopt-A Highway program. I told Mr. Furr the county did not have an Adopt-A Highway program, and that he is required to obtain a use of right-of-way permit from the county road department. I also advised Mr. Furr if he continued his activities, he would be cited. Mr. Furr said he would continue what he was doing as I returned to my vehicle. January 25th, 2019, approximately 0900 hours, I was advised by Deputy and Patrol Sergeant Mr. Furr was on Libby Lane near Milepost 3 to 3.25 conducting his activities within the county right-of-way again. At approximately 1200 hours, I made contact with Mr. Furr near Milepost 3 to 3.25. I asked Mr. Furr for his identification, explained that I was issuing him a citation for disorderly conduct and offensive littering. I subsequently issued Mr. Furr a citation and gave him a Coquille court date, as this is another, it'd be a misdemeanor and handled with Coquille court. During the course of the next week, I learned that Mr. Furr was planning a cleanup activity for Olive Arbor Road. Since the activity was going to occur on my days off, I advised Sergeant Moore of the situation. I advised Sergeant Moore that if Mr. Furr was conducting cleanup within the county right-of-way, to issue him a citation for the unpermitted work within Coos County Road right-of-way that I had prepared and which is attached to the packet. On February 17, 2019, approximately 13:30 hours, I was told by Sergeant Moore that Mr. Furr was conducting cleanup activity and piling of garbage within county right-of-way on Olive Arbor Road. Sergeant Moore said he issued my citation, UTC number 20436, for County Code violation 4.1.030, unpermitted work within the county right-of-way. Mr. Furr was given a court date of March 13, 2019 at 0830 at the North Bend Annex. Although he was cited under County Code 4.1.030 for violation, ORS 374.305 gives solid ground of the ordinance and has been in place since 1949 in the state of Oregon. See below. Also, Your Honor, I know you're aware, but I don't think the majority of the public is aware that ORS is guidelines or mandates that must be followed. However, county ordinances can be enacted upon certain ORSs to be more restrictive. So I think that's where some confusion may be. I have attached to the packet the ORS and the Coos County Adopted Road Program requirements. Sergeant Moore is seated to my right. Like I said, he was the issuing officer of the citation that day. I do have Coos County Roadmaster John Rowe that's available to explain the status and guidelines for the Adopt a Road program.
Mr. Furr, any questions for Deputy Patterson?
No, comments.
Hey, Deputy Moore?
Not at this time, unless, other than I did actually issue the citation on, right in February to Mr. Furr, and I contacted him on Olive Arbor Road in Coos County.
And what exactly did you witness before
At the time,
issuing the citation?
he was picking up garbage on the side of the road, had a garbage bag, I believe. I believe Mr. Furr actually recorded our contact at the time.
Anything else from the state?
I can bring the Coos County Roadmaster John Rowe up if you would like him to explain the Adopt a Road program or the status of that to the court.
It's up to you.
Mr. Rowe?
Under the penalty of perjury, you promise that the evidence you shall give in the issue now pending shall be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Good morning.
Morning,
And for the clarity of the record, will you please state your full name, spell your last name?
John Rowe, R-O-W-E,
Thank you, Mr. Rowe.
Coos County Roadmaster.
And what would you like to share with the court?
Some of the requirements of the Adopt a Road program, I mean, it started in 1998. In the last 10 years, we've only issued 2 Adopt a Highway permits. The last one was in 2012. So, under the special requirements of the program, states that the program may at any time and for any reason be canceled, modified in scope, or altered in any other manner at the sole discretion of the county roadmaster. It also says the county roadmaster may cancel a permit for any reason, including but not limited to safety considerations concerning road operations, failure of the applicant or its participants to comply with provisions of the permit. It also states that the county shall not issue a permit under this program to any applicant whose objectives and values determined to be inconsistent with the public interest or the county's responsibilities under the law. So from past history with Mr. Farr, and on April 27, 2017, I was advised by our county council, I have the email right here, you can see it, not to issue any permits to Mr. Farr or leaving no trace in any form until further notice, which we haven't, and I haven't, since that time, have not issued any Adopt a Road request, or neither has anybody requested the program, so we pretty much ended it then on that date. So.
Thank you. Mr. Furr, any questions for Mr. Rowe?
No.
Thank you.
Nothing further, Jeremy?
Mr. Furr?
I guess I should point out the first thing is ordinance 374.305 that they're just trying to stand ground on is necessity of permission to build on the right-of-way, which is an issue because I'm not performing work on the right-of-way. Work is defined under ODOT as modification. I am doing a activity, and it's an activity permit that is held underneath the Adopt a Highway, Adopt a Road program. Since 2016, a commissioner meeting maintenance program with me and my nonprofit cleanup group. Since then, they have ignored and refused to have a meeting with me with no reasoning, no letter to me explaining why. And I've contacted the county ODOT multiple times and talked to Scott, which is the road manager, and he said the commissioners refused to allow me to have a permit, so he can't issue me one. So I tried for 2 years to get that permit. The ordinance that they're referring to here that I got the citation for is simply the information requested on the application form. So they're saying I didn't try, which I have avidly tried. I have a lot of proof of that and plenty of witnesses. And then the necessity to build, that's not what I was doing. I wasn't modifying anything or asking to modify anything. I was just performing an activity, which I have a civil right and duty to perform. And under the ODOT rules and regulations, they actually have a duty to have the program functioning and to assist citizens in helping them with the debris removal. So for John Rowe to say that there has been no requests for it, I have had many citizens contact them to find out about the Adopt a Road program. And after I had the meeting with them in 2016, I guess mid-2017, they decided to drop the program completely, which, as far as I found in the ODOT rules and regulations, is against the law. They must have the program. It's part of the maintenance program for the roads to keep it debris-free and safe for the public. So that would be Ordinance 366.158 is an activity permit, and the ordinance, which is the Adopt a Highway or Adopt a Road program. So I was simply doing my civil duty and my right as a citizen to keep the community clean, and as well as keeping the waterways clean, which I have multiple ordinances that proclaim that ODOT is responsible and must focus on keeping waterways free of the hazardous materials that might contaminate that, which is also held under a DEQ law as well. And in the discrimination of them not wanting to give me a permit and not allowing me to have one and not wanting to have a meeting with me, when I did the Olive Arbor cleanup, I did that because I had a citizen contact me and offer to dispose of the trash if I would come and coordinate the cleanup to get the road clean, because he lives on the road and would like to see it clean. So there was prearranged disposal. If they had been in contact with me or allowed or asked me, I would have let them know that yes, there is prearranged disposal. I will clean it up and it will be disposed of, and in a safe manner. I'm told that I need a permit. I've had multiple volunteers, one being my mother. Every time she's there helping clean up, she asked Jason Patterson if she was going to get a ticket too, because she was performing work on the county easement. She was told no. Also, Shane inquired to Jason Patterson if he came out with his truck and trailer to help me dispose of the trash, would he need a permit? And he was told no. There was absolute discrimination, forcing me to have a permit when they can easily allow others to not. Anything else you'd like to add? In one of the statements for the Libby incident, it says here, Mr. First said the county will not give him one or call him back. And I stated that to Jason Patterson. This is his report. on Libby Lane before I was over on Olive Barber. So he was already much aware of the fact that I was being denied unnecessary permit for cleaning the roadways, which I have proven that the permit is unnecessary because I cleaned Highway 101 from California all the way to Washington, and I cleaned both sides of it. So I walked 734 miles on liability agreements. And that was all that was necessary for me to clean a state highway. I also cleaned every mile, which that includes miles that are unadoptable by basic citizens. But I was given permission and accomplished it with no incident. And the only area that I had any resistance on my 101 campaign, Clean Up for Awareness, was when I got into Coos County. So I asked for a permit. I would take the permit, but they refused to allow me to do my duty as a citizen.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Furr?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Furr, do you currently have a permit to conduct your activity or work within county right away now?
No, because I was told by Scott Murray that there is no Adopt the Highway program, therefore there is no permit.
Did you have a permit in the day that you were issued the citation?
No.
Okay. And Your Honor, the reason for the ticket going to solely Mr. Furr, because he is the group leader of the group, and it's better to, I would rather issue it to the group leader than everybody there, and then tie up the court system when this is the person that organizes the activity. Secondly, and I believe Mr. Furr doesn't quite understand that Oregon State Highway is highway. It is Highway 101. Libby Lane, Olive Barber are county roadways, which are maintained by Coos County Road Department. They are also governed and have stricter laws or regulations upon them, and ultimately it comes down to the county roadmaster rules the county roadways.
So, and I wonder if I should bring Mr. Rowe back up here. My question is, if somebody wants to pick up trash on the side of the road, how do they go about doing that lawfully? Is there a way to currently do that lawfully?
Mr. Rowe?
Not at this point, but right now we have the juveniles pick it up.
And there is, attached to the packet that I presented, there is the application process, but ultimately, the county roadmaster decides who gets the permit and who doesn't get the permit.
No, I've been given no reason why I cannot have the permit. I did recently adopt 15 miles of Highway 42 East, which is a state highway. State and city ODOT are willing to work with me, as well as every other county, every other city. Coos County is the only one that's given me resistance, and they actually gave me resistance when I first started. Instead of offering help within the first 2 weeks of starting this program, they sent people out to threaten me with jail and fines if I continued, and only because I stood my ground as with my citizen rights did they decide to help. So I've had to deal with discrimination and harassment the entire time I've tried to do the right thing. But I'm able to get permits from the state, Adopt the Highway, and the city with no issue. So I'm still baffled at the reason why, especially since they obviously do have the paperwork to not issue me the permit, because I do function safely and have for 3.5 years. I haven't had one accident. I have cleaned up a lot of trash.
Okay. Anything further from your side?
No, Your Honor.
I would like my one of my witnesses to come up. He was the one that disposed of the trash and had a conversation with Jason Patterson, and was told that he had no need to have a permit to do what I consider to be the most dangerous part of the job, which is picking up the trash.
You may call your witness.
Okay.
Under penalty of perjury, do you promise that the evidence you shall give in the issue now pending shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. And for the clarity of the record, will you please state your full name and spell your last name?
Shane Allen Hartley, Hartley.
Thank you, Mr. Hartley. You may sit down. What would you like to share with the court?
Before all this happened, I had been in contact with Mr. Furr. I've lived on Olive Barber for 40 years, and constantly driving down the road, it irks me seeing the amount of trash that people either allow to fly out of their trucks or throw out willingly. And the county doesn't do anything. They say it's under their jurisdiction to the right of way and to do just maintain it, but they do not maintain it. And so he's done. I've seen him clean up multiple miles, and he does an excellent job. He's very thorough and dedicated. So I asked him, hey, I'll if you come out and clean up Olive Barber, I will have my dump trailer ready when you're done, and I'll pick up all the garbage, take it to the county dump, dispose of it at my own, all the costs going to me. And he agreed. And then, he started doing that, and we were always in contact and trying to set up times to when it was going to be finished. And then I'd come along, and he would have a chase car to go behind me with flashers. That way we could be safe. And do it during the time of day. There's not going to be an issue. After he got the site or the code violation, he let me know, and I called the sheriff's department to get clarification. And about 4 or 5 days later, this guy right here called me back and talked to me about it. And I needed clarification because he's getting a code violation. I want to make sure. Okay, so am I going to have an issue to go out there because we prearranged to clean it up or to dispose of it for him. I just want to make sure there was going to be an issue. He said there would be no issue if I went out there and with my trailer and picked up the garbage and disposed of it. I kind of find it funny how one person he's saying he's breaking the law, but then it's okay for everybody else to break the law, I guess. I just think this is ridiculous. All this money is being spent on somebody cleaning up garbage. Yet they say they don't want to spend any money to clean up the garbage and dispose of it because its cost is too high. I disposed of over half a ton of garbage. It was only $55, $56. Another citizen that lives on Olive Barber was there, heard that we were picking it up, and also came along with his dump truck, picked up the other half. I assume there was probably another half a ton, and that was just in 3 days. So half a ton of garbage on Olive Barber, cleaned up by a citizen, but they won't do it. So somebody has to.
All right.
May be seated. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so defendant was cited under County Ordinance 04.01.030, dealing specifically with construction projects in the right-of-way. Later in that section, 04.01.050, penalties, references Oregon Revised Statutes 374.305, the necessity of permission to build on right-of-way. And again, in that section of the ordinance, it states, in other words, paraphrasing, if one is involved in a construction project in the right of way without a permit, then they're in violation of both the county ordinances and the state law. Based on the testimony that I heard today, defendant was not involved in a construction project, and therefore I'm finding him not guilty of this particular violation. Quite frankly, I find it a bit concerning that the county's position is that there's no legal way to remove trash from a county road. Again, that position by the roadmaster is concerning, but not necessarily an issue here today, so I'm not going to address it any further than that. I will say, Mr. Furr, though found not guilty on this particular violation today, it is my feeling that you may be cited and potentially found guilty if you continue your activities on a county road. There's other offenses that I could see being charged. This particular one, you're not guilty of, I'm finding, but there may be others. So I would just say it's advisable to stick to where you have permission to do the work that you're doing and to be involved in the activities that you're involved in. But on this particular charge, I'm finding the defendant not guilty.
Thank you, Aaron.
Nothing further.
Thank you, guys.